As a referee, I pay attention for a living.
While I'm busy watching the game, I need your help keeping an eye on the stands.
If you see something that doesn't look quite right, tell a law enforcement official.
We all play an important role in protecting our communities, and you can help.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
If you see something, say something is used with permission by the New York Metropolitan Transportation Authority.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Hey, this is Ariana Grande.
What's up, everybody? I'm Bozzy. This is Calvin Harris.
This is Camila Cabello.
Hey, I'm Dua Lipa.
Hey, guys, I'm Halsey.
Hey, what's up? It's Lau.
Hey, everyone.
This is Selena.
It's Selena.
This is Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Taylor Swift.
This is Zed.
This is K-Joy.
This is Vincent R. What's up, guys? Twitch and Scratch. You're listening to DaBooth312 on WIIT 88.9 FM in Chicago.
And this is Fresh.
Hey, this is Ariana Grande.
What's up, everybody?
Download that free app, tune in, and get the best sounds of the underground with The Booth. I gotta have my mic on first. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another day right here, The Booth 312, broadcasting from WIT 88.9 FM and DaBooth312.com. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone, because everyone's Irish. That's right. Everyone's Irish today. Yeah, I know I'm hearing a lot more. It's funny. I'm hearing a lot more now about people really giving an issue with that. In the past, it didn't matter if you were black, white, Hispanic, this, that. Today, everyone was Irish. Well, now today, everyone's standing their ground saying, I'm not Irish, I'm Italian. No, I'm not Irish, I'm Mexican. No, I'm not Irish. Look, be what you want to be. Most of you live in this country or born in this country don't even say you're American. So be it. Be what you want to be. Anyways, it's a house day for me. I'm a house head, proud to say it, and I love house music. And we got a wonderful guest sitting in the studio with us. It's going to be throwing down for you guys. In the old school fashion of the vinyl, Bolo's in the studio here. What's going on, brother? Happy to have you here. Let's get your mic on so you can be heard too.
All right.
All right, man.
Very.
So, how's it going with you, brother?
Oh, pretty good. Nice, beautiful Sunday. The sun is out, mellow weather. My favorite, you know what I mean?
You know, today was a real funny thing, though, because on social media, everyone saw that it was snowed. It snowed. Well, guess what? It did not snow in Chicago. So if you keep promoting you're from Chicago, guess what? If you saw snow, guess what? That was your sign right there. You are not Chicago. You may have been Chicago at one time, but you're not currently in Chicago because it did not snow in Chicago. It did snow, however, in a lot of our suburban areas surrounding Chicago.
Right.
So that right there was a sign, a slap in the face, say, hey, you're not Chicago anymore. So you woke up, saw some snow today. You are not actually in Chicago. But it's all right because you still love Chicago if you're from Chicago. You're Chicago in the heart. You're shy till you die. It's okay. You know, what we do here is we love pushing that house music, whether it be old school house, 80s, 90s, classic house, soulful, underground, tech house. There are so many subgenres, electro, progressive, so on and so forth. We love the house sound right here in the Booth 312.
That's right.
And we keep it going.
Real music for real ears.
Oh, definitely. So now, if you guys don't know too much about Bolo, he is actually from a sister station of 88.9 FM.
Yes, sir.
But it is at, what is it, WRRG?
WRRG 88.9, and that's Triton College.
There you go.
So, you know, it's pretty much, it covers the northern hemisphere or whatnot. So that's the difference between WIIT and WRRG. WRRG, if you're traveling northbound to pick us up, you might be able to get the frequencies over there. Versus when you come southbound and you tuned into 88.9, then you got WIIT. But it's all good, though. I'm happy to be here to collaborate with you guys. And, I expect to have a good time. I'm enjoying the company already.
That's good,
being
man.
the company, I'm sorry.
Well, you've been here before, not as a guest, but you've actually been in the studio before. So this isn't the first time for you to be in here. So
yes, sir.
It's actually great to have you as a guest, and we get to know a little bit about you and get to actually hear you spin. Again, a lot of us that have been doing this for a long time that really love the art of not only DJing, but house music. We love when it comes from the roots, which is vinyl.
Yes,
so
sir.
You haven't really gone from that. You stay with that vinyl feeling, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's by choice. There's nothing to knock the transitions that are being made by most DJs or whatnot, but I just stick to my original craft when I'm, my comfort zone. I can get with the digital, because music is everywhere, so any form or source that I can get it, then I'll get it, Got a few CDs, but primarily it's gonna be vinyl, that's just me. That's how I learned. That's how I started, and I plan to finish that way until I leave the earth,
Okay, all right.
I love it to death, man.
So are you completely opposed to playing on other sources like the electrical with Serato or something like that, or CD? Will you still play on that or no?
Absolutely. If it's there, because I know that Serato, you can utilize the plates, and you can still pretty much, it's the same format, just digital. So if I had to, then I would definitely switch it up. Only thing I haven't really had experience on is maybe the controller.
Okay.
That I know
I had to
absolutely
spin on
nothing
a controller
about.
last night, and I still mess up with the controller because I'm just not comfortable with it.
Yeah.
You give me regular CDJs. I love the ones we have here in the studio.
Oh yeah, and not to cut you off, Rob, but by the way, man, I love you guys set up down here, man. This is very elegant, man.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it. It's really nice. The new studio, they did a great job in it, and we're really happy about it. So we're happy to have it. And it took a long time to get the setup that we actually have. So it's not like we got it overnight.
Right.
So it did take a while for us to get that set up. But we are happy to have it. And our guests seem to love it. So that makes it even better, because then we get return guests. So it always helps.
Absolutely.
So let's get to know Bolo a little bit. So how long you been spinning, man?
Since I was 17 years old. I started back in the day with a pair of belt drive Gemini turntables, man. That's how I learned. And I'll never forget, my mom was my first critic, you know what I mean? I call myself, throwing down some mixing, or what I call mixing. And I'll never forget, this is like yesterday, I'm in the room, I'm so-called throwing down, just playing the records, blending, or thinking that I was blending and whatnot. So anyway, make a long story short, I get through the session or whatever and cut the last record. So my mom comes out of the blue and is like, what was that? Pretty much not being sarcastic, but what the hell are you doing? That didn't sound good at all.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
It really is.
And you know what? That is one of the major roots of me skyrocketing, and stepping my game up and just learning the craft itself. And also my mom's ex-boyfriend, Singleton McDonald, the mix master, known as, hooked me up with my first set of official records, you know, like maybe 30 at one time. And I just took it and ran with it, you know. I can't say that anybody necessarily sat me down and trained me how to spin. I just kind of observed and just picked it up quite naturally, you know.
Yeah, I know how that is.
Because I'm gonna be honest, the weirdest thing is that I got very accustomed to the belt drive turntables. So I don't mean to be all over the place, but you know, I was 17 when I started. Now I joined the military when I was 19. So the belt drive turntables came with me, you know, needless to say, and I got comfortable. So it's like, you know, learning how to spin with belt drive was kind of like, it was very interesting because it's like I literally had to hold the beat with my hand because the pitch control was about the size of a little pin, you know. So it's like technically, nah, you can't hold a beat with that, you know. So I would get it to where it would need to be or close enough and just retain it through just like literally turning the record old school style just to keep it on beat. Yeah. And I did that for at least 3.5 years. But when I turned 20, I got my first set of direct drive turntables, which were not Techniques, believe it or not. They were Numarks. And I realized that I couldn't necessarily perform the same way on the direct drive as I did the belt drive. So now it's kind of like, okay, now I'm transitioning into a whole different world of learning how to actually, you know, hold the beat with the pitch itself instead of actually turning it with my hand. Yeah. And it took about at least a good month or two for me to get accustomed to it. And then once I got to it, it made me realize like, hey, those Geminis and that root, as I said before, really skyrocketed my skills, you know. And it's kind of like, you know, I hear about, you know, our forefather DJs, like guys that were mixing off, what do they call it? The reel-to-reel tapes and things like that. Yeah. Right. And it's like, if you could do those type of things, and when technology advances, it's kind of like, okay, how you learned and what your root is will kind of contribute to the skill set that you have, you know, when it comes to making a transition to something that's more advanced. You know what I mean? So,
well, it's funny because we were talking before, and you know, we both have motivations within our families.
Yes, sir.
Between the Tinsley family, the Brigham family, and on and on and on. That tree is so big, but
absolutely,
we both had inspirations from similar people in our family to get us to where we are today.
Absolutely.
And you know, those who have seen my bio, we were talking about this before the show started. Our mutual cousin Ted Bailey, which he better be tuning in. If you ain't tuning in, I'm wait till I see you. But you know, our mutual cousin is, I guess I can honestly say for both of us, was an inspiration. You know, he was doing his DJ thing, you know, when I was getting ready to hit my teens, when you were much younger.
Absolutely.
But he was an influence for me, and and it's cool that you had said, you know, your mother's influence and you know, I miss your mom anyway, and her boyfriend and stuff like that, because it's just been in our family. Absolutely. And real quick, not to cut your interview off, I want to give a shout out to my daughter who is tuning in on YouTube Live. So to my little one.
That's right. Big
Thank
ups.
you for
Big
tuning
ups.
in, mama. Little mama. My daughter is my rock. She's tuning in. So
that's what's up.
I'm glad that she is supporting her father and DaBooth312. So moving right along. You know, so tell us a little bit about your show, which is similar to our show, but you're on the air a little bit more than we are. So can you give us some more insight about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, just to get straight to the point, I am on 88.9 FM WRG, Triton College Radio. I have a Soul Cafe set on Saturdays. That's the name of the show, the Soul Cafe, and we air from 11:30 p.m. until 3:30 a.m. and beyond. So I say and beyond because occasionally we might actually surpass, depending on if we have, you know, a bigger lineup or just the vibes itself, you know. And the music is provided by your boys, your host, myself, Mr. DJ Bolo, and my partner in crime, the one and only Smooth Agent, the Smooth Agent of Chicago, Mr. Sean Smith, Smooth Agent Records, representing with me and throwing down every Saturday, man, some hot stuff. And also we follow it up with Twilight Mondays, which is brought to you by the Soul Cafe family. And Twilight Mondays airs every Monday from 9 p.m. until 1 a.m. and beyond, you know, depending on if we catch that vibe, you know, like 2 weeks, I'd say 3 weeks ago, we had a marathon. me and Mr. Smith, you know, we got it in and got into like a 2-hour tag team set / battle or whatever you want to call it. And it was fun, man. Very, very elevating, and it was a wonderful, natural, good time. So, like I said, you know, those are the 2 nights, Saturdays, Mondays. Saturdays, 11:30 p.m. until 3:30 a.m. Mondays, Twilight Mondays, 9 p.m. until 1 a.m. and beyond. And you can hit us up, you know, I can actually give you guys the general information. If you listen to the Soul Cafe on WRRG, you can dial us directly at 708-583-3110, 708-583-3110 with your questions, comments, and conversations. And for all the computer heads out there, we have 3 sources of picking us up live on the internet. The main is tunein.com. You go to tunein.com and you search WRRG, and you got us live on the internet and across the globe. So if you don't have the app, it takes, you know, obviously less than a minute to download the app. And once you download the TuneIn app, search WRRG, and you got us on Saturday and Monday, and also the following shows they may have throughout the week as well, you know. So I just want to put that out there. And also, you can reach us, you can pick us up at WRRG.radio.net and click on the live stream icon. And also, you can go to soulcaferadio.net and click on the live stream icon, and you got us live as well. Now, those 2 are primarily for Saturdays, especially the Soul Cafe. The Soul Cafe is more of a personalized website, the soulcaferadio.net, so that is useful for Saturday nights.
It's funny you said, I love how you say, and it's till 3, but we push on, well, you push on further than that because...
Absolutely.
I had the privilege of playing on his show.
Oh, man. Wonderful night.
It was an awesome night. And it's...
5 in the morning, right?
Yeah, we didn't end until 5:30.
5:30.
And then I had to turn around and come here. And Rob was looking like, so what's up, old man? You look tired. And I'm like, man, you just don't know.
That's
you know?
right.
And,
That's right.
He had... His guests were spinning on vinyl. I was the only one spinning on digital. And it was awesome. I mean, it was a great night, and I look forward to coming back on there. Hopefully we could get Mr. RTW out there. And you know, I've been inviting you to some of the other venues that I've been fortunate to play at.
Yes,
and
sir.
Introducing
you
you
know
to some
what?
awesome people.
And I want to say, man, I greatly appreciate the time that you showed us Wednesday. Was that a week ago? Or
Yeah, that was the Circle Party.
That was the name of the spot.
That was Estate.
Estate.
Yes.
Awesome time, man. I really had a good time. You know, Mr. Ron Tinsley beat up the box, of course, and you know, I got a chance to see some faces I haven't saw in a long time. My man's Diz, who played after you. You know, I got a chance to, you know, to at least get up with him, and you introduced me to some great people. You know
As a matter of fact, I'm trying to get him to come and play on the show and be on the show as well.
Absolutely, man. Good brother. Yeah, and good vibes as well.
Just the fact that Randall Dean, who we've had as a guest, and Rob, you spoke extensively with Randall when he was here on the show. You know, this guy is, that name, you all should remember it, Randall Dean. He's going to even be seen on the South Side soon. He has inspirations to play on the South Side. I've introduced him to a few South Side DJs who are looking at doing some endeavors with him. So be expecting to hear more of that name, Randall Dean, in the future. But, you know, Rob, you know, we have been fortunate to have a lot of great guests on the show. And we were talking about this before we aired about a conversation you had about some people thinking, and we both had similar conversations, that people thinking house music has died in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, do you want to address that?
You know, we'll save that for a little bit later. We'll come back to that one. Just as well as we'll talk about a little bit about Soundbar and what's going on with that after the shooting. But otherwise, we're going to make sure we keep this house music going for you guys. We got a lot of great new house music being played, so we want to make sure we showcase that and get that out to you guys. Real quick shout-outs. I want to give shout-out to Classic Crow. I want to say happy birthday to Classic Crow. And, of course, to my daughter, Ashley. I love you. Happy birthday to you, too, honey. All right, guys. So stick around right here. We got more to come on DaBooth312, but we're going to get to view the best sounds of the underground right here, the best house music.
7 guys dance with one girl, and she'll be in the middle, and they would be in a circle around her, and they would jack. Sample it, right? Jack. Jack. Jack.
Well, here we are again, and I got to tell you, Jim, this match has me really concerned.
That's right, Ron. In one corner, we have a powerful heavyweight, a train, weighing in at a whopping 6,000 tons. And in the other, this hasty lightweight challenger, a car, at just 1.5 tons.
This does not bode well for the car or the people in it.
Ron, this is one of those rare moments where I actually find myself at a loss for words.
This driver can't think he can beat a train.
I can hardly bear to watch.
It's no contest. Every day, people are injured or killed trying to beat a train at rail crossings. Trying to beat a train is more dangerous than you think. See tracks, think train. For more safety tips and information, visit ctracksthinktrain.org. Contest. Every day, people are injured or killed Trying to beat a train at rail crossings. Trying to beat a train is more dangerous than you think. Contest. Every day, people are injured or killed trying to beat a train at rail crossings. Visit ctracks.train. More dangerous than you think. C-Tracks, Think Train. For more safety tips and information, visit ctracksthinktrain.org. Contest. Every day, people are injured or killed trying to beat a train at rail crossings.
Many children in the United States do not receive the dental care they need. Untreated tooth decay not only causes pain, but it also interferes with a child's ability to focus in the classroom. It can lead to a lack of self-esteem, which can hurt a child for years to come. To help combat tooth decay, the American Dental Association sponsors the Give Kids a Smile program. Give Kids a Smile happens nationwide every February. The goal is to try and raise public awareness for children's access to dental care. Dentists volunteer their time and resources to help provide oral health care screenings and treatments for children in need. During Give Kids a Smile, dentists also educate children on how to brush and floss properly and practice good oral hygiene. For the ADA Dental Minute, I'm Dr. Maria Lopez Howell. For more information, visit our website at ada.org. To help provide oral
Reach the World
Entertainment
presents
During
DaBooth.
Give Kids a Smile,
Check us out every
dentists
Sunday
also
on
educate
WIT
children on how to brush and
88.9
floss
FM in
properly
Chicago,
and
2
practice
p.m.
good
to
oral
5 p.m.
hygiene.
Central Standard
For
Time.
the ADA Dental
Download
Minute,
that free
I'm
app,
Dr.
tune
Maria
in,
Lopez
and get the
Howell.
best
For more
sounds of
information,
the underground
visit our
with
website
DaBooth.
at ada.org.
And save humanity. Yes, if you want to say that I was a drum major, say that I was a drum major for justice. Say that I was a drum major for peace. I was a drum major for righteousness. And all of the other shallow things will not matter. I won't have any money to leave behind. I won't have the fine and luxurious things of life to leave behind, but I just want to leave a committed life behind. And that's all I want to say. If I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word of song, if I can show somebody he's traveling wrong, then my living will not be in vain. If I can do my duty as a Christian, if I can bring salvation to a world once wrought, if I can spread the message as the Master taught, then my living will not be in vain. Yes, Jesus, I want to be on your right or your left side. Not for any selfish reason. I want to be on your right or your left side, not in terms of some political kingdom or ambition. I just want to be there.
forefathers. Negro music. Scott Joplin, Ray Charles, Earth, Wind and Fire. That's Negro music. Minnie Riperton. That's Negro music. Johnny Hammond. That's Negro music. The Isley Brothers. That's Negro music. Duke Ellington. That's Negro music. Glenn Underground. That's Negro music. Negro music. The Urban Airs. That's Negro music. Negro music. Negro music. We've got to keep the music alive. It's our heritage. It's in our souls. It's in our hearts. We got to keep it real. We got to keep it strong. And as I listen to the sound of the drum, I hear a song. Negro music. Negro music. Negro music.
so good inside. Baby, then came you. Nobody, 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 nobody else like you. Baby, then came you. And then came you. Everybody sang, then came you. Everybody sang, then came you. Do you feel me? Talk about love. When you're down and when you're feeling out, and there's nobody by your side, they won't love you the way you deserve to be loved. You changed my world around with love and laughter, and then came you. Sadness, and then I will let nobody disrespect me, and then came you. If you want me, and that's to give you love for real, to love you when you're down and out, when you ain't got nobody by your side. I'm here for you.
All right, guys, if you're just tuning in right now, you're listening to Booth 312 on WIT 88.9 FM in Chicago and do the Booth 312 and DaBoothRadio.com. If you guys just tuned in, you just got a chance to hear our guest, DJ Bolo. Make sure you guys check him out every Monday and Saturday night on 88.9 FM WRRG, Triton College. Bolo did a great job as always. I love tuning into this guy and listening to him. Definitely love that soulful sound and feeling and that ride he takes you on, especially on today being Sunday. You want that ride and that feel, and it was a great feeling. It was. Bolo, thank you so much, brother. That was really, really tight, man. All right, guys. I want to talk a little bit about these club shootings. They get pretty crazy. And one of the latest ones that we've had, and I didn't hear anything about this weekend yet. I don't know if Ron did, but knock on wood, I didn't hear anything for this weekend. So hopefully it's good. And we didn't have any. But we did have one at Soundbar. Now, we did reach out to Soundbar, and unfortunately they haven't gotten back to us. But we were trying to get, some kind of context. We'd love to have Soundbar come in and just talk to us about the closure, because the Alderman closed their establishment due to this incident. Now, again, according to our sources, and we'd love to hear from Soundbar to, correct us if we're wrong. But according to our sources, we're hearing that this incident happened during a time of a open decks. And again, this is according to our sources. There's another open deck incident where they were playing hip hop, and it seems like everything revolves around the hip hop. All these incidents of shootings and major fights, it goes back to hip hop. So every time, the last one we had as well, it was a hip hop event. And then these clubs are getting closed left and right. So people are having fewer and fewer places to go to relieve themselves, from the stresses of the week, the work week, and it's getting ridiculous. I mean, it's really bad. that people cannot seem to, go anywhere. It's like everyone has to stay home now because everything's getting closed. And Chicago being, a house mecca, we would think that we would be trying to keep establishments open. Doesn't seem to be happening here. So I don't know what's going on with that and why we can't seem to figure it out. The politicians keep closing everything down. I don't know if they're trying to fatten their pockets and they're not getting in, that's why, or if there's another agenda behind it. I don't get it. I'd love to have you guys chime in on that as far as our social media people. Definitely check us out if you're watching us on YouTube right now. We'd love to have you guys chime in on that and, see what your point of view is on this as to what do you think? Why do you think they're doing this where they're shutting down so many clubs? And, it's not just an African-American thing because it's not just those clubs that are getting closed down. It's clubs owned by Ukrainians, clubs owned by Russians, Polish. So, it's clubs of all, being owned by multitude of different ethnic owners. So we can't just hold it down to say it's an African-American thing. It's not just an African-American thing, but we got to figure out what the problem is and what's going on because this is getting ridiculous now. All these places getting shut down and nobody having the chance to go anywhere. Let's see. David Britton, you're always on here. I'd love to get your comments on this, see what you have to say about it, because this is getting ridiculous how all of our establishments are getting closed and we can't seem to do anything about it. But, I think if we start coming together and unify, which is what house music really was about originally, it was about the unity, how we unified together, and we need to bring that back. If you want to keep our establishments going and keep places open for where we want to go party, then we got to come together and we have to, speak up on this behalf to these politicians. Let them know. Stop closing our clubs. Stop closing our establishments. But what can I say? Again, it seems like it's all revolving around the hip hop. We keep trying to have places to go, but it seems like when they have a hip hop night at these places, something goes wrong. A politician closes it. I don't know, man. Ron, what do you think about that, man? Do you think it'll go? Yeah, you're busy on the cameras. All right, he's busy working on the cameras. I get it. So, chime in. Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear your opinions about this. So stick around. We're going to get back into some more tunes for you guys. Let us know what you think, and we'll let you all know what people are saying about that. So stick around right here at DaBooth312 for more Sounds of the Underground.
We served our country like those before us.
You know, it was a dangerous area. All of Vietnam was dangerous.
The carnage of war left an indelible mark on me.
We came back and built lives. As time went on, we faced new challenges and found support to handle them.
I went to the VA, talked to my doctor.
I started doing groups. I started doing one-on-one counseling.
At MakeTheConnection.net, you can hear our stories and find tools and services available to you.
Hey, this is Ariana Grande.
What's up, everybody? I'm Bozzy. This is Calvin Harris.
This is Camila Cabello.
Hey, I'm Dua Lipa.
Hey guys, I'm Halsey.
Hey, what's up? It's Loud.
Hey everyone.
This is Salady.
It's Selena.
This is Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Taylor Swift.
This is Zed.
This is K-Joy.
This is Vincent R. What's up, guys? Twitch and Scratch. You're listening to Booth 312 on WIIT 88.9 FM Chicago.
And this is fresh.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all, not one bill. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
The treatment doesn't get any better than what you receive at St. Jude. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
Reaching the World Entertainment presents The Booth. Check us out every Sunday on WIIT 88.9 FM in Chicago, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Download that free app, tune in, and get the best sounds of the underground with The Booth. Yeah, I know we're back. They can wait. No, I'm just messing around. All right, guys, this is in The Booth 312, WIIT 88.9 FM, and TheBoothRadio.com. So, okay, as we were talking about, we got somebody who wants to call in. Give us a call, chime in on this closings of the nightclubs in Chicago, in the Chicagoland area. We want to know what your opinion is. Why do you think the politicians are closing all of these clubs? Give us a call, 312-567-3088. Again, the number here, 312-567-3088. We'd love to get your opinion on this. Remember, you got to keep it clean, otherwise you will be cut off. All right, guys. So what can we do to unite the house music community? Because we're being told that there is no house music community. House music is dead. I don't believe that. I don't think it's dead at all in Chicago. But I got to admit, hip-hop has overcome a lot, especially in our youth, with the millennials and the centennials. Seems like house music has died off with them. Why? Because it wasn't carried on. Their families didn't carry it on and push it on to them. And so a lot of them don't even know about it. You know, I hear it all the time that kids that hear some tracks that have a house music beat to it in the background, and they'll say how great that hip hop track was. And then you get informed that, well, that really was a house music beat originally. And they're dumbfounded. They have no clue what you're talking about. And then when you play them an original track of the house music track, then they start to wonder what's really going on. So you guys got to influence them. Get the house music back. Be proud of Chicago. You don't have to be proud of everything that goes on in Chicago. Just like I say, I'm proud to be an American, even though I'm not proud of everything that happens in America. Be proud of Chicago and promote house music. The birthplace of house music is Chicago, and you should be proud and keep pushing that. So, you know, there's not much we could say about it if you're not going to do anything about it. Myself, Derek Jones, Ron Tinsley, we're out there all the time. There's many more that are doing this. Benji Espinoza, like I said, quite a few other people that are out there doing it. DJ Purple, you know, each and every week he's constantly pushing it, doing it. So I don't think it's completely dead. People, even though they want to say it, that it is not completely dead. There are a lot of us that are keeping it alive, keeping it moving, and trying to keep pushing it on to keep that sound going. So, you know, we'd love to get your opinion on this and see what you guys have to say. If you're, you know, checking us out on our YouTube channel, feel free, you know, post your comments and voice your opinions. We'd love to know what you think we can do and should do to keep the house music sound going and keep our clubs open from the politicians closing them each and every time. Again, Soundbar, if you're tuning in, you're listening, we definitely would love to hear back from you and get you in here and, support to keep your club open and keep it going. But again, as our sources say, it was an open genre night and open decks, and it was the hip hop scene again. And it seems like, again, the hip hop scene seems to attract. It's a magnet for all these incidents of the shootings and this drama, which ultimately seems like it results in the closing of their venues.
I mean,
I don't know.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say this, and maybe I'm wrong for saying this, and some people are going to probably have an issue with this, but I think the millennials look at, how do I want to word this? Because I've talked to
Don't
some
worry
folks.
about being politically correct.
Well,
it's not correct.
You kind of have to be, because
It's not correct.
I've talked to some folks, both white, black, Hispanic, and when you, okay, let me start off by saying this. When you say house music to some millennials, they cringe, like, ugh, because a lot of them don't know the difference between house music and EDM.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you went to college, these millennials, while they were in college, this was in the hot phase of EDM, which, I'm not trying to go into another discussion about the difference between EDM and house music, but that is the confusion where some of the millennials, when they were in college and they heard EDM, that was considered, for most, that's not house music.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what, for folks with color, were saying, well, that's what white folks listen to. And then when you saw videos on YouTube and stuff like that, it's predominantly a white crowd, okay? I think that is why the mindset, when they hear the term house music, the first thing that comes to mind is EDM. I had a young lady that I talked to who was from LA who said, for one, she challenged the fact that house music came from Chicago, and I had to really say, yes, it is from Chicago. It's not just an opinion of some, it's the fact. And then her mindset, she was like, well, my version of house music is, and I said, let me guess, EDM, because she was from where? LA.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, well, yeah, that's house music to me. No, it's not house music. That is EDM. And I had to break it down to her. So I think the stereotype is when the millennials hear the terminology house music, the first thing that comes to mind is the EDM side of it. And they go, no, I don't relate to it. The other side of that is those whose parents, like you mentioned a second ago, those parents who were house heads or are house heads, their kids heard it and they said, well, that's what my mom and dad listen to. I don't want to listen to that. So that's where we are. And like you brought up about politicians, I believe that I think if Chicago was to hit the reset button, I don't know if it's going to happen with either one of these new candidates for mayor, because they have their own agendas, and I don't even think they even know anything about house music either. I would be really impressed.
Well,
and shocked.
if Tax Winkle gets in, then she's taxing everything. So
She's going to tax house music?
She's going to tax house music.
Okay.
She'll tax you listening to the house music in your house.
Okay. And then if, what's her name? What's the other one?
Oh, Lightfoot.
Lightfoot. Maybe she has a Lightfoot to dance to house music.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll hope.
I think what Chicago needs is the politicians, if they're going to step in and be involved. I think Chicago politicians, and if any of you are listening, or any of those that represent those politicians are listening, let them know, hey, why not embrace Chicago house music like Nashville does country? Why not embrace it? Because you put it on the Chicago websites, the Chicago the Chicago event pages, the chosen few is put up there. Okay, you put one thing up there. You put let me take that back. You put a couple of things, less than a handful. You got Summer Dance, and then they put the Lollapalooza. Those are the three big music events that I've seen on the Chicago summer event page. Okay, why not embrace it? Why not put the Montrose Beach Bash? Why not put Music Alliance Fest? Why not put DJ Soul Cat's her house music picnic? Why not put Titan Davis's picnic? A lot of these picnics, if they could get it put up there as published as a Chicago event, because they are Chicago house music events. That's when Chicago can start embracing. That's one step towards Chicago embracing what is its own music. The second thing, if these politicians were to get involved, they could push heavily on these radio stations, unlike ours, the bigger ones, to say, hey, we would like to hear our music, Chicago brand music, played on your station. And once that starts, then we could get back to where we left off, because that's the best way to put it. We were doing it at one phase where all the smaller radio stations were trying to be like the bigger radio stations, playing house music, keeping Chicago music alive. Steve Harvey came into town and was like, I love that house music. Well, now Steve Harvey was to come back on the radio. He's not hearing house music. He's hearing a hip-hop mix, not a house music mix. 102.7 did play a 30-minute mix, but they called it old school. Old school. So once again, let's knock off the terminology of old school. Let's just put it as house music. Promote it as house music so those that are into house music can still tune in and hear the genre of music that they like to hear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because on Friday I turned on GCI for what? Maybe a hot 30 minutes, and I turned it off. And the only reason why I did it was I was riding around in the car, and I said, well, I'm going to try something different.
Well, we're going to get a couple more minutes as far as this segment goes. So I just want real quick, I want to say I don't know if you saw this, Ron, but I saw it on social media. There is a new online house music radio station, 24/7 house music that's being promoted. I haven't had a chance to hear it myself, so I'm really curious to see what their sound is. If it's, similar to DaBooth Radio, if they have their own, point of it, but I'm really curious on that. Have you come across that yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so we'll have to get the name for that and everything. All right, guys. When we come back, hopefully we can entice the Black Thor, throw it out for you guys on 1s and 2s. What do you think, man?
I'm motivated to
You up
do
for
it.
it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I am very honored and welcome to always play for not just our station, but for Chicago, because it is Chicago's music.
Ah, you're a glory hog. You love it.
No,
all right, man.
No, not at all.
Stick around right here for more DaBooth312 on WIT 88.9 FM and DaBoothRadio.com. And when we get back, it's going to be going down. It's going to be going down with the Black Thor, Ron Tinsley.
Living lonely in an empty cave, my hideaway. Try to follow me, can't get past the pain. I need your escape. 'Cause you are the light in my darkness. You put the stars in my starless sky. I need your light. And you are the hope when I'm reckless. The reason I live 'cause you're next to me. I need your light, your light. I never want to imagine life without you is tragic. Bring me back to you, yeah. I can't even fathom. Don't leave me here while I'm drowning. Bring me back to you, yeah. All my pieces you put into place in the brightest ways. Now I'm someone different, got me past the pain. Now you're my escape. 'Cause you are the light in my darkness. You put the stars in my starless sky. I need your light. And you are the hope when I'm reckless. The reason I live 'cause you're next to me. I need your light, your light. I never want to imagine life without you is tragic.
Baby, if you want me to stay the night, I can stay the night through. If you only want me to stay a while, I can stay a while too. Baby, if you want me to stay the night, I can stay the night through. If you only want me to stay a while, I can stay a while too. Baby, if you want me to stay the night, I can stay the night through. If you only want me to stay a while, I can stay a while too. Baby, if you want me to stay the night, I can stay the night through. If you only want me to stay a while, I can stay a while want me to stay the night, I can stay the night through. If you only want me to stay a while, I can stay a while too.
Reaching the World Entertainment presents The Booth. Check us out every Sunday on WIIT 88.9 FM in Chicago, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Download that free app, tune in, and get the best sounds of the underground with The Booth.
era chiquito, pobre, me decía, mamá, me encanta tocar la guitarra.
No.
Hay gente muy rencorosa.
Son las nubes del cielo sereno.
Cada loco con su tema. Cada loco con su tema. Camarón que se duerme, se lo lleva la
I'm Tiffany. I have some tips for you on how to quit smoking like I did. First, I did some reading about it. I found a lot of great advice on how to quit smoking and picked out the ways I thought would work best for me. I started by setting a quit date. Then I threw out my ashtrays, lighters, and matches. I did other things too, like exercising more, and it worked. But I'd still get cravings, especially on long car rides. To help me with that, I put a picture of my mother in my car. She died of lung cancer from smoking cigarettes when I was only 16. Now I have a 16-year-old daughter. That picture of my mother reminds me that I don't want to miss all the things my daughter is going to do in her life, including turning 17.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
Are you at risk for oral cancer?
I never chew tobacco.
I don't drink much.
Never smoked a cigarette in my life.
You're 3 times as likely to get oral cancer if you drink or use tobacco. What about HPV?
HPV. Isn't that about cervical cancer?
What does that have to do with oral cancer?
You're 30 times more likely to get oral cancer if you have HPV or the human papillomavirus.
HPV? Didn't know that.
Learn more about HPV and oral cancer at myoms.org. This message is brought to you by your oral and facial surgeons.
Broadcasting from A. Sidney Katz Studios at Illinois Institute of Technology.